Hey, welcome to Bio 375. My name is Scott Grilliot, and I will be leading you through how I got the answers to the questions on the exam 2. So the first question is on the exam. It is a Hardy-Weinberg question. It's asking about some frequencies of different alleles, and it gives the autosomal dominant disease ADPKD, and it affects 1 in every 750. And so I'll show you some of the work that I did on my paper here. Hopefully you guys can see it all right. But this is my work for question 1 here. And so something that we know right offhand is the disease affects every 1 in 750 individuals. So I wrote that here, 1 in every 750, and that's shown by big D, and then it can be something else. It can be little b D, or it can be big D, but 1 is D, and then big D, and then 1 is something else. And so if we know that, then already we know the autosomal recessive, the recessive, the homozygous recessive, which I wrote here. It's 749 over 750. And I did the calculations here, 749 divided by 750, which is little d, and you end up getting 99%, 99.99%. And so you get this percent here, and then you take the square root of that, take the square root of the dd, and you end up just getting 1d, because it's no longer d squared. And this is the percent I got for that. And then you do 1 minus little d, and you're going to get the big D allele, and that is 0.067% right there. You guys can see that? And then you take that and you square it. You take that value and you square it, and you get this, and it's the big D allele. And then to find the heterozygous, you're going to do 2 times D by itself, which is 0.0006. And you're going to times that by the little d, which is 0.9993, and then you're going to times that by 2. So I got that here, that heterozygous was 0.0013, which is 0.1333%. And so I found that, and that helped me answer most of those questions. And then to get a population of 1 million, well, you just take the percent that are going to be heterozygous, you times that by a million, and you get 100, and I think it was 1,332.89 or something. So I just rounded it to 1,333 people to have a whole number for people. You can't have half people. So that's how I got the answers to the first one. The second question here, it's asking about it's a DNA molecule, and it gives us some. I tried to draw it on the board here. Hopefully you guys can see it all right. But it points out some locations. There's W, which is points here, this spot right here. X, which is right here. Y, which is this guy right here. And Z, which is this guy right here. And so it points to all those and it asks us to figure out what these different groups are. So the first one here, the black dots, we know just from the shape of these that this is going to be a ribose. This is got to be a ribose here. And so the only other thing on the outside is going to be the phosphate group. So these black dots, they represent the phosphate group. And then this is ribose. I didn't draw the base pairs here, but it has a few base pairs. A, T, C, G, and write that here. A, T, C. There's a few more G, and then some that are left blank. And so this one, because there's a T, we know that this has to be DNA. RNA never has thymine. And so this has to be, because this is DNA, this is a DNA molecule, we know that this has to be deoxyribose, because it's deoxyribonucleic acid. So that's what this is. This is deoxyribose. Next one, it asks what this is. Well, we don't know what it is by just looking at it, but if we look at the one next to it, which is adenine, we know that that links up with thymine. It links up with thymine or uracil, but there's no uracil hill. There's only thymine. It's DNA. So this is a T right here, thymine. And then in the actual question, it asks, it's not this exact one. Otherwise, it would be guanine. I think the answer actually was guanine. Let me see here. Yeah, actually the answer was guanine, but it didn't have a C. But I could just kind of tell from the texture. I didn't draw it here, but they showed all of these having different texture, and the guanine texture matched the texture of the one that they circled. And so that's how I got the answers to those. It also asks about the 5 to 3 prime ends. And so, let me see here. So what I found was on the left-hand side, the 5 prime is up here, and the 3 prime is down here. And the way that I knew that, and also 3 prime on this side and 5 prime on this side, the way that I knew that is based on the way that these deoxyriboses are lined up. The 5 prime carbon, which is right here or right here or right here, 5 prime carbon is on this side of the deoxyribose, and the 3 prime carbon is on this side down here, right here. And so, oh, sorry, this is the 5 prime is up here. I got that mixed up. So 5 prime is up here, and then the 3 prime is this guy right here. This is 3 prime right here. So just because of where we know that the 5 prime and the 3 prime carbon is on the deoxyribose, we're able to figure out which side is the 5 prime and which side is the 3 prime, and that's how I got the answer to that. Next, it asks what the portion of the molecule that is considered to be the backbone. So it would just be everything over here. So we'd have this and this and this and this and this. So it would be the deoxyribose and the phosphorus that we have, the phosphate groups. Sorry, not the phosphorus, phosphate groups. And then the last one is asks us indicate the portion of the molecule that gives DNA a net negative charge. That's actually the phosphate group on the end. And that's just because of the nature of phosphate groups. They tend to give off a slightly negative charge. All right, so let's see how I got question number 3 there. I'll go ahead and erase this so it doesn't distract you guys as much. Or was that question 2? Yeah, now we're on question 3. So question 2, which we just did, was about DNA molecules, and question 3 was about there's a certain number of progeny, and it's asking about it's a problem regarding linked genes. There's linked genes here, so I'll show you my paper and the work that I did on it, and hopefully you guys can follow along. So I went ahead and wrote out all of the different ones. There's either wild type, which is indicated with a plus sign, and the mutated gene, which is shown with the just like a regular letter. So I wrote those out, and first I found out, though, I looked at the list of genes. I don't have it here on my paper, but it's on the answer sheet which I turned in, and on it there is a list of numbers with the genes. So the most common genotypes were these ones here, right there, shown. And then I found the ones that were these are the most common, these are the least common. And by comparing the most and least common, if you can be able to see how they match up, you'll be able to then see how the DNA is, or the genes are on the chromosome. And you're able to tell which one is in the middle by seeing which one is different. So look at these ones, you say, okay, so K positive is there, K positive is there. Well, the rest of these is CD positive and E. Well, CD positive and E are on the top of these, so it's K that's different. It's K is the different gene. So doing that, you can be able to figure that out, and then you can also tell, using the same method, you can be able to tell which one is different in the other two genes, and then using that, you can do some math. And where did I do that math? Yeah, so over here for the CD gene, I can find how many map units it is across by doing this calculation. You take the number of these genes that are different on the CD that had the crossing over on that gene, and then the number of double crossovers, and you times it or divide it by the number of total. And you do the same thing for the other gene, which I did over here. And then for the to find the interference value, you do this math here. You're going to take the map units of these two, which was 6.65 and 5 map units, and you times it by the total. Well, you times them by each other and then the total, and then you're going to get a number, and that is the expected value. And then you take the right there. You take the expected, or you take the observed divided by the expected, and then you take one, subtract the total of that number, and then you're going to get the interference value, which was negative 5.26. Cool. So that's how I got the question, the answers to that question. And then the last one, number 4, it is a lot very similar to the first one. The first question here, it's Hardy-Weinberg, and it is asking about genes here. So there is a difference though. It's asking about the frequency of the D allele and the frequency of little d and big D allele. And so using the same calculations, I was able to deduct that little d is this. You take the square root of that. You find out what little d is. 1 minus little d, you get big D, which is that number there. Square that number, you get dd, and then this number there. And then 2 big D, little d is the heterozygous, which you get there. And so that's how I got the answers to that, and how I got the answers to everything in total. And hopefully that was satisfactory for you guys. Hopefully you're able to follow along pretty well. And thank you guys for watching. Have a great evening or morning or whatever time you're watching this. Have a great day.